What's good, everybody? It's your brother Mad Black, the most dangerous and the most toxic black man on the internet, and I am black up in your face again with some more pro-black commentary. So, first of all, let me apologize to you all for not dropping any videos lately, but I live in Middle Tennessee and we just had some really bad storms in our area. Everything from severe thunderstorms to tornadoes to flooding. So, I was caught in some of that. And I'll just let you know, first and foremost, my family and I are okay. Our house is okay, but we did get tornado warnings on two separate days within the last week or so. So I believe it was from Wednesday night going into Thursday. We got the tornado siren, so we had to go into the basement for a couple of hours. And then Saturday afternoon, we got more tornado sirens, and we had to go into our basement for a few hours. So that's why you have not seen me here uploading any new videos, is because of that. I even have two videos that I was working on for Patreon that I still need to edit and put together and put on my Patreon for all the people that pay for the Patreon at Black Up In Ya. So thank you very much for the support that you have been giving me, and I am getting back into the groove of things as we speak. While there was no real damage to my house, the only problems we had were there's a couple of like leaks in my basement, so I had to clean that up, and that took like most of Sunday and part of Monday. So once again, that took a time away from me doing videos or doing any type of editing. So getting back into the groove right now and trying to get back into doing things here. Hopefully we've seen the last of these types of storms for a while and things won't get too crazy. But it's been a hell of a time for natural disasters here in this part of Tennessee. I think there was even a small earthquake going out into West Tennessee from the West Tennessee fault line. It was a low level earthquake, but an earthquake nonetheless. So we've been having all types of insane things happen with the natural disasters. So just bear with me as I get back into it and get back into the groove of uploading and editing new content for the channel. That being said, something very interesting that I saw over the weekend that I wanted to talk about is some of the hate that I see the actor John Boyega getting from some of these bigoted Star Wars fans that fester through pop culture like the vermin that they are. So if you're unaware who John Boyega is, he played the character of Finn in the new Star Wars sequels, and he's been in a whole bunch of other really great movies like Attack the Block, They Clone Tyrone. Very talented young brother. But he made a statement the other day basically just saying that, when you are a black actor that's in some of these big franchises like Star Wars, you get a lot of criticism or attacks from some of these people who claim to be fans. And he called them the toxic fans. He made a very clear distinction that he wasn't talking about all Star Wars fans. He was talking about some of them. And what he basically was saying is like, you know what? A lot of these popular franchises has basically nothing but white people, and they're cool if you're a black person that's in it when you're playing the side character or the sidekick or, just someone that's not the main character. But if you're a black person or you're a female that moves into that main slot, that's when they start getting real funky with you. And he's right. He told the absolute truth in that regard. I mean, we've seen it so much over the last few years or so that anytime they put a black character in a major role in any of these like sci-fi, fantasy, or comic book films, you see these douchebags and dickheads online have a fit. So now that John Boyega has said this, now you have a lot of these anti-woke slash conservative slash red pill slash racist content creators who are attacking him. And let me explain to you the game that these fools play, because I've peeped this over the last few years or so, especially since the pandemic. I've seen the game that they play, and this is how they build their audience. It's also how they basically throw stones and hide their hands when it comes to these racist attacks on black actors in Hollywood. So what they'll do is these fools will get on their channels and they'll talk shit about the black actor or character that's going to be in one of these major films. So if they're playing like a black superhero, if they're playing the lead in like a sci-fi film, they'll talk all types of shit and say, well, this is woke or whatever, right? And so the bigots in their audience will pick up on that, and then the bigots in these people's audience will go and harass said black actor, because most of these actors are on social media, right? They'll be on social media on Instagram or Snapchat, or they'll be on Twitch, or maybe they'll be on a social media app like X or something like that. So these fools will harass these said black actors. They will go to their page, or they will send them nasty messages, and they'll just be saying like all types of real terrible things, right? Real super racist, bigoted stuff. I'm talking about like straight up like Nazi messages, or N-word go home type messages they'll be sending to these actors. And then when these black actors respond to that and say these fans are racist, then what these conservative, red pill, anti-woke content creators will do is they'll come back and say, hey, this black actor is attacking the fans. That's their favorite line. I've noticed that's like their favorite quote over the last few years. It's like, this person is attacking the fans, right? Because basically the actor is pushing back against some of the racist attacks that they get on social media. So that further fuels the content creator because they get more views, they get more attention, and it also further fuels their audience to go back and keep attacking said actor. This happened to the black female actor. I believe her name is Moses Ingram. And if you remember, she played the character of Reva in the Star Wars series Obi-Wan, right? Because I remember very vividly that before that series came out, just them showing production pictures of her in the Star Wars series, these conservative content creators lied and said that the series is not going to be about Obi-Wan. All the focus is going to be on this black woman. And that was an overt, outright lie. Because I watched the series and I saw that Obi-Wan was still the main character in all episodes. Reva was only basically a side character. And truth be told, if you've read any Star Wars book, there's always a character like her in those books, where there's a character that's not part of the main cast, that is just an original character for that book or for that story. That's how they do these Star Wars content, even way back when they were doing the legacy books that came out years ago. So these content creators, they lied and said that this black woman was taking away from the white hero of Obi-Wan Kenobi. So all these racists went and harassed this woman, and she decided to push back, call them out for their racism, and then they attacked her again, saying, oh, she's attacking the fans. All right? So that's the game that these fools play. And I feel that if I were in that position, if I was one of these black actors, I would go on the attack to these fools even harder than John Boyega does. But that's one of the reasons why I'll probably never become famous or in that position, because, I'm not going to let these bigots harass me online. You know how I do in the comment section. Best believe I would do that to these scumbags on social media if I were in that same position. You're not going to harass me and call me names or disrespect me or people in my family and not get touched. Okay? And truth be told, if you're a bigot and you have these feelings in your heart, and you always have a problem every time there's a person of color in a certain role, or a black person that's taking over the lead role, then you are racist. Like, I don't see what the problem is. Just come out and say it. Be like your grandparents and your ancestors, and just come out and say the problem that you have with these movies. At least I can respect the bigots and the racists from the 50s and before, because they were just overtly honest about the issues that they had with black people. They didn't want to see a black person anywhere. They didn't even want black people in any form of entertainment. They didn't even want to hear black people's music or see black movies or whatever. They were honest about what their feelings were when it came to black folks. But you got a lot of these new fools nowadays. They like to use all these code words and pretend as if they're not racist, right? They'll come out there and say, well, we just don't want things to be woke anymore. We don't want DEI. We don't want affirmative action. All that's code word is for we don't like N-words, right? But deep down, that's the issue that they're having. And I say, if the Klan robe fits, you got to wear that shit. If you're one of these devils out here that always gets butthurt and bent out of shape every time there's a black person in a certain role in a fantasy movie or a comic book movie or a sci-fi movie, then you are racist. You got to take that. Just be honest about what you are. Embrace the hate that you seem to be wanting to put out there for everybody else. Stop fronting, stop pretending, and stop acting like you have this like fake outrage when someone calls you out on your racist ass behavior. If the Klan robe fits, you got to wear that shit. So be it. Just be who you are. Be the devil that you are. Because we know what it is, and deep down, you know what it is. So let's stop pretending. That's what I'm saying, man. I can't stand these assholes that fester on social media. And a lot of the content creators, a lot of people that push this shit, they don't care about who's has what role. A lot of them they're just fomenting fake outrage so they can get views for their own videos. You know, because hate is a big moneymaker on social media, especially on YouTube, and the whole anti-woke grift is a great way to make cash from these mayonnaise mutants on social media. So a lot of these guys just push that stuff. They don't truly believe it, but they go out there and they just regurgitate the same thing over and over again. They've ruined the word woke to the point where they basically said that everything is woke, and the word itself no longer even has any meaning. They dragged that through the mud, and they've almost become like a living parody of themselves. They're so ridiculous and so backwards in their thinking, you can't even take them seriously. So you folks let me know how you feel about this in the comments section. I would love to hear your opinions on this story. Anyway, this is Mad Black, and I will be back with my foot on the devil's back.